Another deck profile here. I've got Crystal Beasts. A lot of people say, if you're going to run Crystal Beasts, don't run all 7. Don't worry about Rainbow Dragon because, there's a few Crystal Beast monsters that are really bad. But providing you play the deck right, the deck plays itself right, you shouldn't need to worry about those bad Crystal Beasts. You might dead draw into one, but there's always, you can just set it. Or XYZ if you have a good hand. The first Crystal Beast is the most important. That's Sapphire Pegasus. It grabs another Crystal Beast out of your deck, which is brilliant. It grabs it at another Crystal Beast, sets it in the Spell Trap Zone, plus it's 1800 beta. Well, not sets it. That was silly. But yeah, it's the first thing you go for is your Cobalt Eagle and then your Emerald Tortoise. You get your bad cards out of the deck, so you don't have to focus on them at all. Next is Ruby Carbuncle. If it's in your Spell Trap Zone and it gets special summoned, not if it's special summoned at all, sorry, then every Crystal Beast in your Spell Trap Zone is special summoned to the field, as long as there's room. And that just gives you a full field of monsters. You can XYZ like crazy. The main thing that happens with Crystal Beasts is when they're destroyed by battle, this all card effect, they're sent to the Spell and Trap Zone as continuous spells instead of to the graveyard, and they generally use that as fuel to keep the deck, to make the deck work. Some effects will put them in there for you, which means you don't have to risk losing life points and stuff. Topaz Tiger is the main beater of the deck. Its attack goes up to 2000 when attacking, otherwise it's 1600, but 2000 beaters are very good, especially for a deck this old. Next, it's a very spell heavy deck, so Magician of Fate is essential now that it's unbanned. You do get dead draws, like ridiculously often, which is why you need Vortex Trooper. It returns 2 of your dead draws to your deck, gives you another shot at it. Usually it works out for you, if not it gets destroyed and you draw another card. 3 Kage to Kage. These are brilliant for your Sapphire Pegasus. You play him, you get your beast in your Spell Trap Zone, then you summon one of these. XYZ. XYZs are pretty much the only way this deck gets power until its end game, which matters a lot, and I haven't set up an extra deck for this, but it's pretty simple. It's just your straightforward 4s and 3s. All your staple ones, really. Amber Mammoth, Amethyst Cat, Emerald Tortoise are all really bad for this deck. Like, Amber Mammoth, they have to attack it first, but you generally don't have more than one on the field if this is on the field. Unless you get your Carbuncle off, in which case you should just XYZ anyway. There's no need for it, other than to make your 7. Emerald Tortoise, when a Crystal Beast attacks, if this is on the field as a monster, then that once per turn you can switch it to defense mode. Amethyst Cat can attack directly for half its attacks, that's 600 damage. I suppose it's useful if you go for an OTK, it doesn't quite work out and they've got less than 600, that can finish the game. But otherwise it's generally just fodder. Cobalt Eagle, this is the worst card of the Crystal Beasts. Its effect lets you return a Crystal Beast on the field to the top of your deck. So it takes one of your Crystal Beasts off the field, so the only one you'd want to do this to is Sapphire Pegasus, and then it puts it on top of your deck, so you'll lose your next draw as well. It's awful, and if you ever use this effect, then you must be getting pretty desperate or about to pull off some amazing combo. It shouldn't be part of this deck. Rainbow Dragon, if you have all 7 different Crystal Beasts in your graveyard or on your field, anywhere on your field, you can summon this. It's a 4k beater, don't worry about its effects. They're all useless, they hurt you and wreck your deck. If you activate its effect that banishes the Crystal Beasts to return all cards to your deck, or return all cards on field to the owner's deck, then essentially this becomes a dead draw because you just got rid of all your Crystal Beasts. And you just lost your 4k beta that was giving you the advantage. And then the other one is send all Crystal Beast monsters on the field to the grave so it gains attack. Unless you're going for direct damage, there's no need for that one. It can't activate its effects on the turn it's summoned anyway. And if it goes 2 turns into it, while this is on the field, then you're getting something wrong. Generally, this will get destroyed before you get to use its effects, but it's 4k attack, so you can't really say no to it. It's such an easy requirement to summon. With Kage and the 2 Carbuncle and Magician of Faith, I do have expendable Lights and Darks, so I have put a BLS in. As silly as it seems, it works pretty well for this deck. It's rare, you're generally going to be able to summon it if you draw into it. 3 Crystal Abundance. This card is broken as hell. Is the main reason people would play Crystal Beasts. If you have the 4 in your Spell and Trap zone, you play this, it sends everything on the field to the grave, and then you bring out a Crystal Beast for every card your opponent just lost. It sends, not destroys, so it can't be countered by simple things like Stardust, and most monster effects don't really stop it either. So it's a deck card that you really need to use for this sort of deck. It ends games so easily. And all you need is 4 in your Spell Trap zone, which is really simple in this deck. Rare value, if you have 2 Crystal Beasts in your Spell Trap zone, your opponent sends 1 to the grave, it doesn't matter which one, you can get them all back. And you draw 2 cards, so it's a +1, providing you've got Crystal Beast in the Spell Trap zone, which really I don't count them as anything on the field to give up. The only issue is you have to have 2, so... Next is Crystal Beacon. If you have 2 Crystal Beasts in your Spell Trap zone, you summon any Crystal Beast from your deck. So you Sapphire Pegasus to add another Crystal Beast, get you up to 3, plus a free monster, or your Carbuncle to bring all your Crystal Beasts out as monsters and go for the XYZs. Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. This is the field card of the deck. I like field cards in most of my decks, if they have need for one. This one has 5 effects based on the amount of Crystal Beasts in your Spell and Trap zone. The first one, for 1, is it can't be destroyed by card effects, which with the new ruling coming in for field cards, that's going to make it, once it's on the field, it's unstoppable. 2, you can halve battle damage, like all battle damage you take. Oh no, once per turn, sorry. Which is still really useful in a deck like this. The third one, I don't think I've ever used it. You can tribute a Crystal Beast to negate the activation of a Spell or Trap card, but it has to be on the field, like as a monster. 4, you get an extra draw, which is brilliant, and 5, you can just special summon one of your ones from your back row. Gets off your Carbuncles and stuff. Crystal Blessing returns 2 Crystal Beasts from your graveyard to your Spell and Trap zone. All the effects that you want need 2 or more, so this sets you up perfectly as long as you've got Crystal Beasts in the grave. Crystal Promise is the same as the 5th effect of Rainbow Ruins. It just summons a Crystal Beast from your Spell and Trap zone. Carbuncle or Pegasus, either one will work beautifully. Crystal Release gives you Crystal Beast another 800 attack. And then if it's destroyed, not only does that Crystal Beast go to the Spell Trap zone, this goes to grave, which adds a Crystal Beast from your deck to your Spell Trap zone. So it's a second Pegasus. Crystal Tree. With this card, I don't like it, but I run it because it has occasionally helped. Every time a Crystal Beast is added to your Spell and Trap zone, it gains a counter. You send it from the field to the grave to add a Crystal Beast from your deck to your Spell and Trap zone for every counter. So essentially you get 2 out of it. Foolish Burial. Put your Cobalt Eagle in the grave or whatever you're up to in terms of bad Crystal Beasts. get ready for your Rainbow Dragon. You know, it just sets you up. MST, obvious reasons, also for clogging. And then Rainbow Gravity, if your Rainbow Dragon isn't in hand or it's in the grave and you still have the requirements for it, this will summon it without, you know, any stupid effects getting in the way. And then Torrential Tribute is, you know, it just puts all your Crystal Beasts in the spell trap zone for you, plus it wipes out your opponent's field. It's a really good card. I'd run Dark Hole if I had more room, but, you know, Dark Hole's, I don't know. I don't even know why there's not one in here. I feel a bit silly for not having it. But yeah, I don't have an extra deck set out for it. I generally just grab 15 XYZs that I can use because it doesn't matter what they are. This deck summons them fast.